What's up, everybody? We got another Facebook Live that we're about to go and bring on Lana Clark, an agent that actually I've worked with for a number of years. She's got some wealth of knowledge, not only here in Vegas, but actually in Australia as well. So we'll learn a little bit more about her story, and she's got a few updates for us. So we'll bring her into the show. Welcome, Lana.
Hello. Hi.
How are
Good
you
to see
doing
you, Sam.
today?
Fantastic. How about yourself?
Oh, trying to get through the week.
Just
Almost there.
waiting,
I,
waiting for Friday to come along.
I I got my daughter with me this whole week, so it's trying to work and daddy daycare at the same time. So
Uh, that's definitely a challenge.
yeah, she's in the other room doing some homework right now. So I'm trying to keep her busy.
Very good. Very good. I
So Lana,
remember.
tell us a little bit about yourself. I kind of prefaced everyone here that you have some experience. We've worked together for a long time here in Vegas, and you also have a background out in Australia as well, right? Some experience out there.
Definitely, yes. Yeah, I've been an agent with Kavish Real Estate Century 21 for a number of years now, probably since 2006. I've been with them, and yeah, I been with him for that long, and then I met my husband out here over New Year's, and ended up falling in love and moving to Australia for about 6 years. So yeah, and I also did real estate out in Sydney, Australia.
What's one of the
So
biggest things that you've noticed from like the business here in Vegas? Because obviously, we've gone through the crash together and we've come out of it. What are some of the biggest differences that you've seen in their market and our market here in Vegas?
uh, price is number one. Sydney is very, very, very expensive, and everything's sold by auction there, pretty much. I mean, you can do a traditional sale, but mostly auction. Yeah, so it's quite different. And you don't deal with both buyers and sellers. You basically have to choose as an agent who you want to work with, and it's a different type of representation. So,
Gotcha.
in terms of that, that's quite different. So mainly you're working with sellers. Yeah.
Got it.
So
And
yeah,
the median price here being about 300 or so. What was the price when you were out there in Australia?
about 850,000 for a two-bedroom, like 900 square foot apartment.
That's a big change.
That's a huge change. Yes.
Yeah. Do a lot of people finance out there? What
They
would you say the
do.
the ratio is?
Oh no, most of it's finance.
Most of it's finance.
Yeah. 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 Great number of it. I mean, there is some cash, but financing's pretty big out there.
Gotcha. So obviously, with the whole shutdown that we've all been, having to deal with, what was some of the things that you had to change in your business to kind of get through, maybe the last 90 days?
You know what? I think the main thing was our conversations that were, I mean, because we're not out and about meeting people. Yes, I mean we're on the phone a lot. We do talk to people a lot, but as at least me personally, it's a lot of interaction as well. And I think that's probably the biggest change for us. Otherwise, in terms of business, we're still doing our business as usual.
Yeah.
A lot of us were already having home offices, so that didn't really change. We were still, using the internet and Facebook and Zoom and all that beforehand. So it's just, I think it's a different conversation that you're having with people. So
Yeah.
because people are curious and wondering what's going on, what's going to happen with the market. Should I wait? Should I do this? It was just everyone was kind of in a little bit of a panic there.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but if you start having a conversation, they're going to realize it really hasn't changed that much.
Hmm.
People are still buying, people are still selling, and there's a lot of people still renting. And a lot of people think, oh, it's not going to be that bad. We're in the middle of a pandemic, but
Yep.
there's multiple applications on rentals. There's multiple applications on, properties you're buying. I mean, I'm out there with these clients. I see it every day.
Hmm.
So it's, when people say, oh, it's got to be slow, or I don't have to worry about. I said, no, if you want to get in on it, you're gonna
Yeah.
have to,
You
focus
either
and get
need to
it done.
be in or get
Yeah,
out.
correct. Yeah.
What
So,
was what was maybe the biggest hurdle that you had to overcome maybe in the last 90 days with the shutdown for yourself?
the biggest hurdle for me, um, I think that trying to keep a good, positive, mental um, outlook,
Yeah.
because the news can get overwhelming. You still try to keep social distance and try to be safe, especially with me. I try not to do too many things other than work. That way I keep safe.
Yeah.
But I think just keeping a really good, positive, and I think everyone needs that right now.
Yeah.
Need a little positivity,
Oh yeah.
and
There's enough negativity and negative
yeah.
news and
Oh, you're
kind
on the
of the
news.
whole
Yeah.
doom and gloom, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's not doom and gloom. I mean, I know some people are definitely having a hard time in going through it, but we're all here to help each other out and try to get through this.
Yeah.
And I think you need to have a positive attitude, so that way you can kind of overcome, all those negatives.
Yeah.
So,
So you've been in the business for a while. What were some of the comparisons or the differences that you've seen through your career from maybe the REO times to
oh,
today? Because I think that's obviously, I think a lot of people that are on the sidelines, right, about buying that. I still
yeah.
hear it to this day, almost every day. Someone thinks that the market's going to crash,
Hmm.
and us living through that and working in this industry, we see it a lot differently. So, what were some of the things for you that you kind of can pinpoint and say like, hey, this is why we're in a
It's
different
different.
market? Yeah,
Oh, I can say right now, lending's entirely different.
yeah,
I think that's the biggest difference, it's a completely different type of situation, in my opinion.
hmm,
It's not per se a crash. It's just kind of it's a hump in the road, definitely, but
yeah,
it's not a crash. It's just lending led us certain types of lending led us to that situation that we were in, and other factors as well. But in terms of right now, it's because of a virus. It's a
hmm,
little bit different. So I think people, were thinking it was going to be the next big, crash, but it's not going to be, because it's not the same situation.
yeah.
It, you know, um,
I think that's hard for a lot of people to grasp because I think they either hear the word recession or anything like that, and they automatically go back to that time in 2008 when obviously that's what
what was
we
a
all
dramatic time? I
remember.
mean, oh, we
Yeah,
all remember. We all went through.
yeah,
I went through it. I survived it. We all went through it. And yeah, I mean, people. It's I think it's natural to kind of get scared and worried about that
yeah,
when something like this happens. And people are worried about the future.
yeah,
But like I said, I really do feel strongly that it is a completely different situation.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and I mean, you can tell us, in terms of lending, as far as I'm concerned, people are still able to get loans, um, and refi their homes as well. And I think
Yeah,
refis are up
those are some of the
dramatically
biggest
right now.
things. Rates are at all time lows compared to 2008, 2009.
Hmm.
Um, shoot, I bought my house in 2010, I think is what it was, and my rate was almost 7%.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
today we're locking certain clients under three. Obviously
yeah,
perfect credit situations and loan to values and all that, but we've gotten guys under 3%.
yeah,
And I think the thing that people don't realize is that back then you were buying homes with no money down.
Correct. Exactly.
With the
Exactly. And no
anticipation.
verification of
Yeah.
documents and things too. It was a lot easier back then, which
Yep.
got us into trouble.
Yeah. And everyone was a investor, right? Everyone
Hmm.
bought with
Yep.
speculation, the fact that, hey, I could sell my house in 6 months, make
Exactly.
50 grand, and then, oh, okay, great. Let's buy 5 houses now.
Exactly.
Today you have to qualify, right? We still need,
Exactly.
we're going to look at pay stubs, we're going to look at bank statements and all that
Mhm.
stuff to make sure that you can truly qualify and afford the payment. So,
And
um,
nothing's really changed since the pandemic, and now for that, it's still
yeah,
the same. You still have to show the same documentation.
yeah,
You still have,
yeah, absolutely.
it's still the same. People ask that a lot too. They're wondering, has that changed? Am I going to have to do anything more, or is it, pretty much the same as it was before the pandemic hit?
Yeah. For
Um,
us, we didn't see too many changes. I mean, there was some stuff internally, and I think every mortgage company out there dealt with the whole verification of employment differently.
right.
There was guidelines from Fannie Mae and stuff like that that we all kind of followed, but for the most part, it was business as usual.
Yeah.
The process didn't change. I mean, we were still shockingly, and I was a little nervous too when it all happened because you don't know how it was going to
Exactly.
play out,
You
but
don't know. Yeah.
we've had record months for the last
Yeah.
2-3 months, not only myself and my team, but our entire company too. So,
Yeah.
to your point, if you're looking to buy or do anything, there's multiple offers. Like people
Yeah.
are serious about, buying right now.
Because right now you can actually get more for your money. When rates
Yeah,
are this low, you actually get more house for your money.
absolutely.
So, you got to think of it in a different way, you know. Yeah, so it's definitely the right time in interest rates, being so low.
Yep.
And prices are still good, they're not they're, um, it hasn't gone crazy,
Yeah.
and unless you're in a multiple offer situation, which there are multiple offers out there, I will tell you that right now.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, don't sit on the sidelines if you're ready to go. Definitely look into it, and
Yep.
you know, because you're going to
Yeah.
miss out on getting a great house.
We get a lot of people that ask about condos.
Yes.
Having experience, and I know the hurdles we run into on the lending side, but as an agent, when a client asks you about condos, what are some of the conversations that you're having with people that maybe they're unaware of when they go into thinking that, hey, I think a condo is a good buy for myself.
Yeah, I think you just need to work with a team that's familiar with condos. Condos can actually be very tricky.
Yep.
So you want to make sure you're working with a lender that is very familiar with it, and also with either a listing agent if you're listing a property, and then also a buyer's agent if you're purchasing a condo. You need to know certain things in terms because financing can be tricky on some of them depending on the HOAs and certain things like that. So you need to make sure that you're working with an agent that is aware of that. And it's great if you do list a property as an agent to make sure that you actually do your homework a little bit on it, so you can already have all the information ahead of time so that the lender, can check into it, and the buyer's agent, will know what to do. And so that way you have a successful transaction.
What
Otherwise,
are what are some of the pitfalls that you mentioned? Because I think maybe people that are relocating here or they're just new to the process. What are some of the pitfalls that you see that these guys are unaware of?
financing, whether they can do FHA financing actually on that property, or if it just has to, or if it just has to be like a conventional or cash, transaction. That's one of the biggest things. They think that
Yep.
they can just go in and buy any condo, with an FHA loan.
And the reason being for that is that there's a lot of litigation that's
Correct.
going, it's ongoing with a lot of these projects in town, which obviously the average buyer wouldn't even know that. And that's why, like you said, working with someone local is so important
Yeah.
because if you're dealing with an online lender or somebody out of state that doesn't have
Yes.
issues with condos,
Right.
they wouldn't even know the questions to ask.
They wouldn't.
Um, and they fall out all the time because
They
of that. The
do.
lender doesn't do their
Mhm.
homework,
Yeah.
or Like you said, the agent,
Or
they
doesn't
didn't do
ask the
enough.
right questions. Yeah,
Yeah,
doesn't ask the right
exactly.
questions.
So I
Yeah.
think that's one thing, if people that are listening, if you guys are thinking of purchasing a condo,
Mhm.
that's some of the questions you need to ask your agent or talk to your lender up front, because that will throw a wrench into the deal. Because if there's some kind of lawsuit that's
Correct.
ongoing, as a lender, we have to get information from the HOA. And the
Correct.
HOAs are not easy to deal with.
No, they aren't.
Sometimes there's one person who has the
Especially right now.
information, yeah, that has
Especially right now.
exactly, that has the information that you have to call,
Right.
and they'll get back to you when they feel like it.
When they feel
It's
like it. Exactly.
it's I've been in
So you
situations that they didn't want to call us back, and literally we're calling, the agents are calling every single day, emailing, and they take a week to get back to you.
yeah. Well, we've worked on a few together, and let me tell you, you guys have been amazing. You guys are on it all the time, and you always end up getting us the answers that we need. But that's because we know what we need to do ahead of time,
Yeah,
So that's one thing that's great about you guys. So I really appreciate, we work as a team very well.
absolutely. Yeah, that's one thing I definitely want people to understand, that having a good team, meaning
Mhm.
realtor
Yeah,
and lender, is very
and like
important, especially not just in a condo purchase, but any transaction,
any
because
transaction.
yeah, there's a
Yeah,
lot of things that can go sideways,
correct.
and just because your friend or family member, coworker bought a house and it was the smoothest thing ever,
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily mean that your deal will go the same way.
yeah, yes, exactly. And I think communication is huge, and especially between everyone, not just with the lender and with us as agents, but also with our buyers and our sellers.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, that just makes a stronger team.
And with the condos, right? Obviously, there's an HOA
Correct.
that sometimes there could be more than one, depending on the
Correct.
the property.
There can be I mean, there can be three
Yeah.
HOAs easy on some of them.
So I think that's another thing, right, that people need to be
Correct.
aware of or cautious of when they're looking
Correct.
at these condos. And just because you see a property for $100,000, or
Yep.
80,000, and you think you're going to get this $400 payment, the
Yeah.
HOA could tack on another $200-300, right, on
Easy.
top
Easy.
of that.
Very easy. Yeah. Yeah. So you have to weigh the differences, and that's what we do as agents. We'll help get you the information you need so you can make the best decision for yourself in regards to what's going to work for you, and what your goal is, um, and getting you into a home.
Yeah.
Um,
Condos are a little tougher, but on the lower end, I guess if you want to call it that, of the budget, there's also townhomes, right, that they could look at instead.
There is townhomes, yes. Yeah, yeah. And there's some great ones out there. I mean, some really good ones out there. Some that have even, backyards. People think a townhome, you only have a patio. Some do have backyards. So
Yeah.
there's definitely some options for you out there. And when you're driving around as much as I have in this town, what's what.
Yep, yep. And I think that's a cool thing for people to realize too, right? That just because you may not qualify for maybe 250, 300,000, that you're not going to be able to find anything, like you said, maybe with a backyard or maybe with
Yep.
a little more space. So you can always look at a townhome. And the cool thing about townhomes is that they are financeable. You're not going to have all these issues with
Correct.
condos. So that's also another trade off, that, hey, maybe a condo might be worth taking a look at, um, to where you're not going to have as many issues or potential issues with financing,
With
especially when it
financing.
comes down to,
Hmm.
the condos, financeability or not
Hmm.
versus the townhome.
Yeah, yeah. You'll still have the HOA, but on a lot of them.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's definitely an option for sure.
So overall, your thoughts on the market right now?
Hey, right now I think it's a great time. I mean, honestly, if you qualify to get a loan, and you're waiting, I think with the rates right now, I think you can take advantage of the situation, definitely right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think if you, I think it's worth at least um, having the conversation with your lender and having a conversation with the agent and getting an idea of what's going on and what they're looking for. So that way we can let you know what your best options are.
Yeah.
And, but right now, yeah, fabulous time. Yeah. Um, I think it's something definitely to look into.
Are you seeing a lot of sellers? Is the inventory, is it increasing maybe since the last month or so? Have you seen any of
Um,
that?
it's been, it's been good. We always like more inventory,
Yeah.
right now, obviously. Um,
It's still technically a seller's market, right?
yeah, I mean, it's still a seller's market, but no, but it's a, it's a seller's market in the sense that there's not as much competition, but in terms of buyers, it's great for buyers because of interest
Right.
rates. So, I mean, it's a little bit, but I mean, both buyers and sellers can take advantage of it right now.
Yeah. Good deal. Well,
So,
Lana, thanks for hopping in and giving us,
yeah,
some of the latest and stuff that you're seeing there on the streets. We always appreciate that, so we can keep all of our followers up to date with the market and know what's actually what's going on out there.
thank you so much, Sean. I
All
appreciate all your
righty,
help
we'll catch you
and
on
your
the next
support.
one. Thanks for hopping in.
Catch you later.
Talk to
Thanks.
you later. Bye.
Bye.